What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and I am ready to do my full review on the Tempest Knives Pinion. I'm currently, as you guys can see, in the side-by-side. I have my lovely fiance right here off the camera. She's reading, so hopefully she won't be too much of a nuisance to us. But yeah, I am ready to do my full review on the Pinion, guys. I did not do an unboxing of this. I actually haven't unboxed the last like 5 or 6 knives I've gotten in just because I've been super busy. If you guys caught Saturday's upload, I talked about just how busy and stressed and just everything was just really busy. It's a good word for it, with school and work and life and, just everything going on. But I am ready to, finally give my full thoughts and opinions on this knife and get it sent off to the next guy. And long story short, I think Casey has an absolute winner on his hands. I've really enjoyed having the Pinion in. I think it's a fantastic budget offering, and I was really happy to see that he got a lot of success with it, with the pre-order, which is still open as of right now. So I will leave a link to Tempest Knives website and their Instagram page down below in the description. So go check one out. And if you're on the fence about pre-ordering and this video maybe sways you one way, I will go check the link out and pre-order one. So we're gonna get right into materials here, excuse me, after a much needed drink break. So yeah, as you guys can see, I have it's like grayish blue G10. There are 3 different offerings. There's this one, there's a black G10, and there is a black micarta. The one that I went with was this blue one here. So I was actually pretty stoked to get the same one that I ordered. 2 things that I love about this knife are the pivots. You guys can see right there, it has like the 6-shooter pivot. Casey had this on his first model, which was the Mach 51, that unfortunately didn't get funded. But he kept the same sort of design, language, and elements with the pivot here. It's super unique and super different, and I really like the touch of detail on there. You guys can see it does have a loop over style deep carry wire clip. I have a list here of all the changes that Casey sent me that they'll be making, so I'll go over all those at the end. But they do have a wire deep carry clip. This is compatible with a Lynch Northwest deep carry clip. I might get one to toss one on here when mine comes in. I like having kind of the options of both, but it is lefty carry as well, so lefties can rejoice. It has this, I believe to be calling a drop sheep, I think Casey's calling it, blade shape. Very unique, but very utilitarian. You have a nice straight flat bottom down here, has this arch up here. To me, it looks like a cockpit of an airplane or a car, which I believe is what Casey has designed this after. Hopefully the wind's not too bad for you guys. I know sometimes it gets windy and it can mess with the audio, but it is a flat grind. Comes down to a decent edge. The blade stock it's not like super thin, but it's not like super thick. It's kind of right in the middle. Just an overall, it's a unique looking knife, but I think it looks very good. The blade length is 3.4 inches, and I never toss specs in there, but for some reason I just popped into my head. It is a liner lock with a very generous cutout there to access the lock bar. It is on bearings, and there is some internal milling on both sides. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on the show side, and looks like 3 on the lock bar side. The liners, excuse me, are nested, which is really nice, and the micarta has a really good feel to it. It kind of has a sort of a pattern going for it, and this is made by Kubi. So if you guys have handled any of Kubi's knives, like this is very similar in micarta to my Kubi Royal. Kind of has like a grain pattern to it, which I really like. And yeah, I think that's all for materials. I don't think I missed anything. Bearings, blade shape, blade grind. Yeah, so next up is action. And the action on this is very smooth. I did come in with a little bit of blade play, and it still has a little bit. I did tighten it back up, but I didn't throw KPL or anything like that in there. Or not KPL, excuse me, thread locker in there, because it's a pass-around knife. It is a prototype, of course, so I didn't want to do it, but I did take my T8 and tighten it up a little bit, and it has held pretty well. As you guys can see, like I said, there is a little bit, just a smidgen of blade play, but it's still nice and tight for the most part. But middle finger flicks tremendously, fires right out of it. The Detent is tuned awesomely on this knife. Thumb flick, it took me a little bit to get used to, because sometimes when I have the skinnier holes on knives, they kind of cause a little bit more issues for me, thumb flicking, as if, you know, compared to like a Spidey hole. But I kind of just get right up here into this corner, and the detent just makes it pop right out. And once you get used to it, it'll be, you know, nice and reliable. And it'll, almost missed it there, but be nice and reliable and fly right out of there. So slow rolling it is nice. You can just grab a hold of it with your thumb, roll it out. And like I said, middle finger flick is really just kind of a joy almost. I was thinking of a word to say there. Just very fun, flies right out of there. And like I said, the detent, which I have two Kubies. I have the Kubi Royal and the Kubi Hide. Both of those are Colin Mason Pierre designs, and Kubi has nailed the detent on those. So when I found out that this was a Kubi OEM knife, I knew that they would kill the materials and the fit and finish and everything on it, because all the ones that I've had of them, they've been very good. They've been, you know, very adequate for the price, and they really do kill it on the detent and the action, because both of those are drop shutty. They fly out of there. And this is, you know, right in that same range of the two that I have. So Kubi killed it on that. I really love that Casey designed the lock bar access to be so easy, because some knives you really have to like dig your thumb into the lock bar, and after a while it gets kind of, you know, numb or kind of raw from that. But this, you literally, and you guys can see, you just barely, I can't really show it though, but you just get in there and it drops. Requires very little, you know, work to get in there. Just catch it with the nail, or the edge of your nail, edge of your thumb, and you are good to go. So action is awesome. Next up is Ergos. And the Ergos thing was a little bit, I was not like worried that it wasn't going to fit my hand well, but I was definitely surprised of how well it did fit my hand. You have a nice choil up here, and in that grip, it just feels awesome. You can get choked up for, you know, if you're going to be doing some precise controlled cuts. You can get in a nice pinch grip here if you're doing cutting some labels, anything like that. It does feel good here in the back grip too, but I'm more inclined to slide up and use that choil. But you definitely can use it back here, and I have a pretty large size hand, and I can still fit all 4 fingers on there very easily. There is no jimping, which is something that I wasn't taken aback by it, but that's how Casey designs his knives, because the Mach 51 didn't have any on it, and I know Casey's not like a huge fan of jimping, which is again why he designed it like that. And I don't think this knife needs it. You get a good grip on here, and you have a nice thumb ramp if you're choked back in this direction, or if you're up here in the choil, you can kind of land your thumb, you know, depending on how big your hand is, you can land it here, or if you're, you know, up here for anything. I can't talk right now. The blade stock, excuse me, is thick enough to where you have a nice landing area anywhere you put your thumb when you're in a choked up grip. So like I said, jimping is not super, you know, a necessity on this knife. And same with the lock bar, you have enough access in there to get to it that you don't have to put any sort of serrations or jimping to, you know, get it to function well. But yeah, Ergos are awesome. The G10 is contoured in a little bit of ways. It's nicely shaped back here towards the end. There's no sharp edges or anything like that. Like I said, Kubi does a really good job, and they really, I think they knocked it out of the park on this. One thing that I will say, there was something earlier that caught my eye, but I can't remember now. Maybe I just had a brain fart and it was a different knife, but I swear I was fidgeting with this earlier and something caught my eye, but maybe not. I have like 5 knives on my review table, so, but yeah, Ergos are good back here. Choked up, they're awesome. Any, you know, reverse draw cut. If you're gonna get in some gas station knife fights with Kevin at the 7-Eleven on a Friday or Saturday, you are good to go in that grip. So next up is carry. This again has a loop over style deep carry clip. Sits so well in the pocket. This is not a huge knife. It rides really well. You're down in here trying to get, you know, coins, chapstick, whatever you're trying to dig into your pocket for. You're just gonna slide right out of it. No worries at all. You don't have a flipper tab. You don't have any jimping. Just contoured micarta. It's nice and smooth. I did carry this in my front right pocket of my shorts and my back right pocket. Can't talk. Back right pocket of my shorts. They both worked really, really well. No issues at all. The milling, the internal milling definitely makes it a very comfortable weight. I really like that they added that on there, because some knives can be kind of heavy if they don't, you know, mill anything out of the liners. Excuse me. But yeah, really not much to say about the carry. Otherwise, you know, other than it's really good. No complaints at all. Really, no complaints at all with this knife at all. I just repeated myself twice there. No complaints with this knife, except for one thing, but Casey has addressed it, which I will kind of go over now. So I have a list here because I knew I'd forget them, but one change will be he is going to be using the 5mm 1/16 bearings, like in the KU321, which I can't remember if that's the Royal or if it's the other one. They all run together with their numbers. I just know them by their nicknames. But they're going to be using the same bearings as that. They will be doing hex T8 screws all over, which is nice. I like when they have all one screw instead of two. Screws and pivot will be tie, so you're going to have tie pivots and tie screws. The clip will be centered, so that was my biggest thing here. One thing that I kind of gave Casey as feedback early on when he sent pictures of it. The clip to me just doesn't look good this way. I wasn't a huge fan of how it was off-centered and how it kind of stuck off the scale here, but we all kind of told him that, and that was one thing that he took positively. He's going to be moving the clip screw and the clip over here so it's more centered and it won't be sticking out, which I think will be a huge improvement. It doesn't look aesthetically pleasing that way, and I think that was one of the biggest things that Casey got back from reviewers and people, that was like the biggest thing to fix, which to me, if the only thing that you need to fix on your prototype is just moving the clip screw, a couple millimeters over to make it centered on the knife, to me that means you have a good product. And then the last thing was to lengthen the blade to fill the backspacer, which with the blade shape it does kind of look like you're leaving a lot of space back here, and you guys can maybe see in that little area right there, there's definitely a little bit more room for the knife, so it'll be lengthening that by a couple millimeters to fill that up. But yeah, there really wasn't a huge list of changes, because I know some people have made prototypes or have gotten prototypes into their knives, and there's a ton to fix, there's a ton of problems. It seems like Kubi definitely, like I said, killed it on this. If Kubi would have shipped this to me as the fully, the ready to go production version of this, with the clip being like this, I would have been a little kind of iffy. But with everything else, build quality, action, detent, everything that goes into this knife, I would be happy with it. So I think that, Casey really, I like his design language. I was a fan of the Mach 51. I wasn't one of the ones who got in on it, just because I didn't love it. I definitely like this model and this design a little bit more. And again, it's a budget model, so you're not paying an arm and leg for it. And it's not that his other one was super expensive either. It just was a little bit out of my price range at the time of him doing the Kickstarter. But yeah, one thing I did forget to mention, I guess, because forgot to talk about it all, but the blade steel will be 14C28N. This one is an AUS 10A, but this is again a prototype, so he will be doing 14C28N, which is one of my favorite, probably if not my favorite budget steel. It holds an edge really well, and it definitely has kind of overtaken D2, which I know people hate on D2, but I like D2 for the longest time. But 14C28N is just kind of a step up for D2 for me, with edge retention and stainlessness and everything like that. So really happy to be seeing him do that. And yeah, I guess that's final price point is going to be, this was $75. The micarta version, no, 75 or 79. This one was 75 or 79, and then the micarta version will be 89 or 85. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but it's right in that price range. I think I paid like, might be 79 and 89, because I think I paid like 82 because it was like $3 a ship or something like that. But I think they're absolutely worth it. I think you're getting a really, just a phenomenal budget build. Great materials, supporting a great person. Casey is an awesome person to have in the knife community. He, we chat once in a while, and he's always upbeat and always happy about stuff, and he's always just a light in the community. And that's, I could say that about a lot of people, but Casey, I'm glad to call him a buddy, and I'm really happy that this really got the support and got the sort of hype that I think it required. Not that it required it, but the support and the hype that it warranted. It he definitely deserves it, especially after his last project didn't fully get funded, but he came back with a vengeance. He kept his head up, and I think he has a really good product here. So like I said, the link to Tempest Knives, the website and the Instagram page will be in my description down below. If you're on the fence about pre-ordering one, you guys will love it. Please go do so. Go jump in on it. As of right now, of me filming this, the pre-order is open, but I don't know how long it's going to be open for. It's been open for 2.5, 3 weeks or so. So it could be, getting towards that end of the time frame. So don't wait any longer if you're kind of iffy about it. But yeah, Casey, thank you so much for sending this one my way. I really enjoyed having it in, and I told him that having this in is just making me more excited to get my own in and add it, fully to the collection. So yeah, guys, that was my full review on the Pinion made by Tempest Knives. This is the prototype, of course, but really, really cool budget offering, and I just think it's going to be a really, really big hit. It already is a big hit in my opinion, and I can't wait to see what Casey has in the future. So thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. Hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.